All right, so today we're going to talk about Seattle says, well, not really, Sinawali, and I said not really because we're not actually going to point out to the ceiling all the time, but we're going to make a transition between Sinawali from the very short range that we discussed. Today, in this case, we're going to be using the puño, and the long range in which I'm going to use the full length in the middle, which is what we saw the other day. So we're going to start, as you recall, the other day we were doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And it was important for you to remember the positioning of your sticks, meaning once you strike, put it over here, strike with the other one and open, and so on. Things change a little bit when you strike all the way through, because as you see, I have to strike, but then I have to bring back close as soon as possible and try to avoid this as much as you can. You see, it's all the way to the other side. So super slow, striking, and again, you want to strike and bring it back here. 2, in this case, I'm striking a little bit more extended. 3, extend it a little bit more. Don't just leave it here, extend it a little more. 4, 5, 6. So I'm going to repeat 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So in this case, the only difference is yes, you're going to extend a little bit more your arms. Now footwork, super slow. 1, 2, 3. Remember that the other day we talked about it, try to minimize the twist, don't go all the way through, is here, 2, 3, and then that way you can distribute that twist into the 3 steps that you're going to be doing, the 3 beats, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Now a little explanation. The first beat, can you strike all the way through and come back? Yes. You can also strike as you did the other day and from here come back immediately. The only thing is that you have to make sure that you really strike and that you are not shortening the power of your strike just by emphasizing the coming back, but you actually strike. So again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm going to repeat 1, 2, 3, and now coming back 4, 5, 6. I'm going to repeat 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can twist in the beginning of the 4th beat, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or you can wait a little bit more, 3, 4, 5, 6 to the very end. It's up to you. I would actually recommend trying both. Remember that the goal is for you to also be flexible in the sense that sometimes you're here and then you can strike and then you can continue striking and you don't have to do the little twist, although obviously if you're going to incorporate power, you are going to have to go with the strike, meaning the twist, incorporate the twist to the strikes. But what if your intention is not striking but coordinating for let's say redirecting? Then obviously there's no need for you to twist towards the other side. So that's what I'm saying, that you have to be familiar with both and flexible, so you can really use these not only as a tool of striking, but as a tool of defense and combining both. So we have longer range, then the shorter, the mid to short range is what we discussed the other day. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and one more time, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. As you see, not extending, you're not going to strike and come back. In this case, you're striking in shorter range. Now, what if the other person approaches? Now is the shortest range. In this case, we're going to be using the puño. So just be mindful that in this case you have less space, and then you have to come back quickly to the position for your sticks. Like for example, when you strike number 1, you come here next to your shoulder. In this case, you're going to do the same, but you have to come back quickly, and also not to offer the other person's hand, your hand, so the other person cannot drop it at any moment, but you can remove it quickly. So again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You see, it's a simple move. It's the same thing. It's just that you have to make it even shorter than before you strike and then come back. In this case, you're striking, but you immediately have to go right away to this point. Meaning before, you can emphasize a little more of the striking. In this case, as soon as you strike, you have to come back immediately to the other point, right? So I'm going to repeat. In this case, shorter, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now it is important that you keep seeing that the points, the edges of the sticks are still pointing up, but when you're in this short range, it's more pointing 45 degrees to the back and up. Got it? Why? Because now you're emphasizing with this portion and not with the middle. So that's why I say it's kind of cielo seis, because in this case, you're not pointing to the heaven, you're pointing right there to 45 degrees up, okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and once you incorporate the footwork, it's the same. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That way, again, you can emphasize not only the strikes, but also the proper mechanics, especially when you are in that short space. Got it? Now, can you do a transition between long range and mid range and short range? Of course, and then you should. So you don't have to do it as I'm going to do it. You can play around, but the idea is for you to coordinate the strikes with the step. What do I mean by that? If I'm getting closer, first strike might be longer range, but if I get closer, second one is going to be here, and if I get closer, third one will be with the puño. But I can also start here and thinking, well, maybe the other person is the one closing the distance, and I can start 1, 2, you see, now I'm not extending. In this case, the first one is extended, the second one is short, the third is puño, and I can do the same from the other side. Extending a little bit less, and now puño. So one more time, 1, extending, 2, keep this straight because now the person shortened the distance, and then here 3, now 4 extending, 5 kind of like vertical, and 6 puño. Got it? You can also play around with long and short. What if the person closed the distance much quicker? So you can go 1, 2 instead of the other one, right? So it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, and maybe the person decides to move back, 5, 6. So one more time, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So it's up to you to really think about ways in which you can combine these. I'm just giving you the tools. Just interpret that this is for longer range, this is for mid to short range, and this is for shortened range, so for shorter range. So if the person, again, is approaching you and then you cut in the middle, you know that the other one, the next one is going to be with the puño. If the other person moves a little bit back, maybe just move a little bit so I can use this type of strike. And the third, if the person moves to the other side, I can strike all the way by extending my strike. Now, Before you even incorporate the footwork into this, I would really recommend you to really try to go all the way through and extending your stick, and then combining that with mid-distance or mid-range, and combining that with short range. Be creative. I mean, combine it the way that you want. Just interpret, okay, the person is getting close, now I have to switch. The problem is, like, obviously when you extend, your mechanics are going to be a little bit different, right? Because when you extend all the way through, you have more freedom to move, but when you're this short, you really have to adjust your body even better. That's why I said, don't incorporate the footwork yet if you don't feel comfortable. Try to learn how to coordinate first the upper body, striking, okay? And then once you feel more comfortable, then you can really start incorporating a little bit more of the footwork and so on. But other than that, I would say pay attention to the coordination. As I said before, you shouldn't see this as a striking, as an exercise for striking. You should see this as a very versatile exercise that you can incorporate for redirection. For example, from striking the strike. And yes, of course, you can incorporate the same concepts that you just saw today of shorter range. What do I mean by that? Let's say that person strikes all the way through, and then you cut the first one, or you redirect the first strike, and then you strike with the other one, and now you're in shorter range. Now you can use your puño as a strike. So again, first one could be a redirection, second one can be defending against the strike by striking the strike, third one can be your puño because the person is getting closer, okay? So keep in mind the same concepts that we were discussing in the prior video, in which I was saying that this is not only about striking, but it's also an exercise that develops your coordination for blocking and striking, and incorporate these concept of approaching or being approached, and how to adjust to it. So again, this is short because I really wanted you to start adjusting this. And the only thing again is try to be creative, don't try to rush it, and don't incorporate the footwork until you feel comfortable, okay? So as usual, train as many times as possible, and I see you in the next video. Push.